2024 911S/T First Drive Review. This subtle killer is peak Porsche. In its masterful way, Porsche combines existing hardware to create a new all-time great and then some. Porsche famously, or is it infamously at this point, builds near-infinite variants of the immortal 911. First come the expected flavors: the Carrera, Carrera S, GTS, Turbo, and Turbo S, plus a handful of AWD, Cabriolet, and Targa spin-offs. Andreas Preuninger and his Porsche GT division then deliver the racy 911 GT3 and doubly racy 911 GT3 Rs. After the company checks off all of those jobs, it introduces niche offerings like the rally-ready 911 Dakar or the stripped-down Carrera T. Then there's a chance it creates something historic, a specialized 911 we'll remember for decades as a sports car high-water mark. For the previous generation, it was the 911R. This time around, we get to talk about driving the new 2024 Porsche 911S/T. Not just another 911R. The latest variant pays tribute to an ancestor, a 1970 911S augmented with a performance package known internally by the moniker ST. Modifications combine the weight reduction of the 911R of the time with the 911T's stripped-down cabin. Race-homologated examples delivered Porsche's first 911 win in the Monte Carlo Rally. Lightweight, manual transmission, no turbos, big power, rear drive, these attributes motivate enthusiasts like us out of bed in the morning, or in this case, convince me to leave my parents' place for Calabria in Italy despite much needed time at home. The new 2024 Porsche 911S/T is the 200-proof distillate of the 911. Built around the featherweight crankshaft and hydrogen-light pistons of the 911 GT3R's 4.0-liter free-breathing flat-six, the S/T ditches that aero-heavy track monster's colossal swan neck rear wing and brilliant chassis tricks to deliver a road-focused experience. If you ask me the Nürburgring time, I don't know. I don't care. This is how I would build my 911, GT division boss Preuninger said. Porsche called upon all its materials and science and engineering brilliance to make this the lightest 911 of the 992 generation. It uses carbon fiber reinforced plastic, CFRP, for the hood, front fenders, roof, doors, and rear anti-roll bar. The example we drove even had a brain-breaking CFRP roll cage, which sadly won't be available in North America, as usual due to US regulations. Porsche's carbon bucket seats that made their debut in the 918 are standard here, though four-way sport seats plus are available, and staggered 20 and 21-inch forged magnesium center lock wheels reduce unsprung weight by 5.8 pounds per corner. Interestingly, Porsche says carbon wheels don't pass its durability testing and don't save much weight. The rear steering system of the 911 GT3Rs is gone in order to further purify the driving experience, save weight, 14.3 pounds, and lessen the load on the electrical system to accommodate a lighter, lower amperage battery. The 911S/T's lightweight clutch and single-mass flywheel assembly is half the weight of the unit in the GT3 Touring. Factor in thinner glass, lighter carpets, less sound-deadening material, and standard carbon ceramic brakes, and Porsche lists the 911S/T at just 3,056 pounds at the curb, 84 pounds less than the lightest GT3 Touring and only 35 pounds more than the smaller 2016 911R. The comparatively light 911S/T means the 518 HP and 342 lb-ft of torque made by the GT3R's engine have fewer pounds to accelerate. That output is measured at the crank, though. Preuninger figures the 4.0-liter delivers more power to the wheels here than in the R's track special, thanks to the 911S/T's shorter ratio 6-speed manual. A superb time. Fall into the low, aggressively bolstered carbon buckets and prepare for something special. We listened to the gear linkage as we pushed the short throw shifter into first, depressed the surprisingly light clutch pedal, and twisted the start switch on the left, of course to awaken Flash's newest flat 6 monster. NVH engineers would be horrified. Even at idle, the 2024 Porsche 911S/T is brash and buzzing. You hear the lightened clutch chatter, and breathing on the throttle catches you off guard in terms of how fast the phosphorus green tachometer leaps clockwise. Having the mass of the clutch and flywheel assembly means dropping its rotational inertia to just a third of what you'd experience in a GT3 Touring. The rate at which revs and decibels climb gives the impression the 911S/T should have a twist throttle. This powertrain feels more superbike than sports car. Porsche sent us away from the Calabrian coast inward toward the mountains on a series of coiled, narrow, Capellini backroads. Preuninger and company developed the car here after their days in the hills of Spain were cut short by angry officers chasing them in helicopters. Here in Italy, the cafe frequented by the Porsche folks for lunch happened to be owned by a local police chief who seemingly gave them a pass in exchange for a ride in the S/T. We're grateful he did. Throughout our couple hundred miles in Porsche's analog lightweight, the pared down, small diameter steering wheel was rarely straight for more than 100 feet as we calligraphed our way through Italian countryside. Tail of the dragon who? The 911S/T's front end is an apex addict. Few vehicles corner with the confidence and poise of even a standard 911, and the S/T is among Porsche's best work. Without hesitation, minor steering inputs point the nose. We were grateful for its immediate response when we darted around a corner to be met by an old Fiat Panda traveling toward us on what in America would be a one-way road. Carbon ceramic brakes bite hard and progressive on your way into a corner, and weight transfer isn't as obvious as in the Carrera T we drove recently, as the body practically refuses to pitch, dive, or roll on its suspension. This impeccable chassis control thankfully doesn't sacrifice ride quality. Yes, the S/T is stiff, but Calabria's crumbling, pockmarked pavement revealed no head toss or loss of composure, even under hard braking, full throttle acceleration, and ambitious cornering. A retune of the GT3 Touring springs and dampers means the steering wheel stays stable through it all, too. Without the wider tires and aero aids of the GT3Rs, cornering limits are high but not intimidatingly so. Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 rubber brakes loose progressively in a way that never scared us, and we only found understeer if we braked later than intended. Porsche's decision to omit rear steering is fine by us. The 911S/T's tail through a bend is refreshingly organic and predictable. Where the GT3 Touring supernaturally tightens its cornering radius like a world-class illusionist, the S/T feels more like a studied magician who's perfected their craft over decades. The polish is well earned. A 2-year development time doubles that of the 2016 911R, and Preuninger freed up his best chassis tuner to work on the S/T exclusively for a full 12 months. The multilayered exhaust note builds from thrum to belt to shriek as you edge closer to the flat 6's mesospheric 9,000 RPM redline. You'll want to keep revs high, too, as exiting a corner with the Tach less than half its way around the range leaves you way off the R's engine's relatively modest torque peak. Porsche gave the S/T its 6-speed manual rather than the 7-speed offered in non-GT products, but gearing is 8% shorter than in the GT3 Touring. All those revs mean even with the revised gears, second gear tops out at 75 miles per hour and third crests 100 miles per hour. We wouldn't mind even tighter ratios, if only to indulge in the terrific engine note and the world-class transmission. Additionally, the shift lever is 0.4-inch stubbier, which means throws are about as long as those in an arcade racing machine, with gates so well defined they're near impossible to miss. Such an eager powertrain means blipping the gas for rev-matched downshifts requires just a pinky toe's worth of throttle pedal pressure. Hearing the flat 6 howl behind as you drop ratios for the next corner is sublime. Stupendous. The 2024 Porsche 911S/T is a car we'll remember until our last days. Even Preuninger said he hopes an S/T can be his, and two-time World Rally champion Walter Rarl called it the best road car he's ever driven. Once autonomy, electricity, and overall anonymity consume the passenger car, Porsche's purified 911 will stand as a beacon of all that was once right in the world. The good old days are right now, and saying we're happy to have been along for the ride is a gross understatement, to say the least.